Hey everybody, welcome back to the studio. I hope you're all doing well, making some cool music. Today I want to cover another cool way to create some space around your drum kit using a small diaphragm condenser and the floor. Now recently I posted a photo of this because I had used it not too long ago on Facebook. A few people had done this before, some had never thought of it, and some people thought I was batshit crazy. So I figured this is a great time to do a video to prove I'm not batshit crazy, that this really works. Now again, I've got a small diaphragm condenser. I have it as close to the floor as possible. And to check that, you can use a credit card, or in this case, I'm going to use my CVS card, and I'm just going to run that underneath the mic and make sure it goes under there smoothly and it's not hitting the microphone. Now this is similar, very similar, to the wall mic video. If you haven't seen that, I'll put a link down in the description. And that's where I used a 57 on the wall. Same concept here. In this case, I'm just using a small diaphragm condenser in front of the drum set. And we are about, I don't know, 5.5 feet in front of the kit. So we're not very far out. So you can use this in small rooms too, which is nice. Because by getting the mic down on the floor like this, we're making a PZM mic, or a boundary microphone, which is great because it cleans out some of the low-mid mud. It does a nice job at creating space, say, around the snare drum, and even some space around the kick drum without clouding it up too much. Very, very effective. So for context, I'm going to use a minimal mic set up on the kit. I have an Audio-Technica ATM 250 just outside the hole on the kick, trying to maximize some low end and punch since I'm only using one mic. I have an Audio-Technica Pro 63 on the snare, and today I'm rocking a pair of Roswell Pro Audio Delphos 2s on the overheads, and they sound pretty bitchin'. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go play a little bit. We'll check just our bass, 4-mic sound, and we'll take a listen to what this sounds like, and then we'll mix them together and see how well it works. Let's go check it out. All right, so we have our 4 tracks plus our, PZM room mic out in front of the kit. Everything came in on the Trident. I didn't use any EQ, no compression. This is all just flat. The mic's on the kit as they sound. The same with the PZM. So that's the deal there. So let's take a listen first to just our bass sound, the 4 mics, the kick, snare, and our pair of overheads. Okay, so that's our minimal miking setup. Now I'm going to go to, let's check out what the PZM sounds like. Okay, so it's pretty filtered. There's not a lot of bottom. There's a little bit of bottom, but not it's not something that really jumps out. Mainly it's that mid-range and some of the high end that really comes out. And this is kind of what makes it exciting when you pull it in with the drums. It just adds this thing around the kit that's pretty cool. So let's check that out. Let's turn that down for now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the beginning of this, and I'm just going to bring in the PZM as this plays. So you see, it's cool. It's roomy without feeling too bombastic, but it also adds some excitement in the mid-range area. So I'm going to do this. We'll do this one more time. And I'm just going to turn the PZM on and off. I'm going to start with it off, and every couple bars I'll just kind of mute and unmute. So it's cool. It's kind of a nice effect around the kit. It's exciting. So let's hear how that sounds. I have a cycle, a 12-bar cycle here that is 4 bars on the hat with the fill, then 4 bars on the ride with the fill, and then 4 bars on the toms, and it repeats. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let it go one time with no PZM, and then I'm going to kick the PZM on the second time so you get an idea how it reacts with all the pieces of the kit. All right, here we go. There you go. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. All right, so the last thing I'll do real quick is what if you wanted to add a little compression? So let me do this. We're just going to add a simple Logic compressor here. Nothing fancy. I've got a, the tack at about 11.5, the release around 34. I'm only 4 to 1. A little bit of makeup gain. So I'll start with it off and then I'll turn it on. We'll see what happens. So that's pretty exciting. I am getting some extra gain on that, which is fine with me. And I'm also using the soft clip on the distortion on the Logic compressor. I kind of always gravitate towards that. I like what it does. All right, so I'm going to pull this back down a little bit. Since we're getting some extra gain, I'm going to go down maybe about -15. And let's pull everybody back on. We'll start with the PZM off, and then I'll turn it on. One thing I really like about this setup is even if you're hitting the compressor kind of hard like that, I'm not necessarily crushing it, but it's hitting it pretty hard. The cymbals don't start getting all and nasty. They still stay kind of below where the snare and stuff is. So a couple things with this. One, like with all of this, do some experimentation in your room. Move the mic around, try different mics. Like I said, I've done it. I have a 4051, Audio-Technica 4051 that I use quite a bit with this. I used to use but a while back, an MXL V67N, which worked pretty well. The capsule's a little far back from the front of the mic, but it still worked. And you've seen the 57 on the wall video. If you haven't, go check it out. Link in the description. So move it around and experiment with your room. If you got a bigger room, you can move it further away. You could even try, instead of, right now it's right, if the kick is here, it's right in front of there. You could even move it over to the side where it has more snare coming at it, or the other side. Use it as a flavor, something to add something to the recording. So experiment, see what works for you, and we'll see you in the next video. Happy recording, everybody.